I'm picking up where I left off at. This part two. First off, I want to make it known that I'm not trying to bash the black woman, but at the same time, I ain't sugarcoating nothing. I'm gonna give it up in the raw. You can't accept it, then I guess you should look elsewhere. Don't look at this video or whatever. But I'm gonna give it up in the raw. So it's like this right here. I'm saying this. These unmelanated Euro Gentiles, these lepers, you understand, they know what they're doing. And whatever they've been doing it well. Because whatever it is, it's got so much magnetism to it, to where it's drawing our women in. I mean, I'm saying this right here. This unmelanated Euro Gentile, what he laid here and did. He laid here and reiterated Willie Lynch all over again in this modern day, in this modern era. How did he do it? He did it by disenfranchising us, whereas the so-called black man, he can't get a job. And if he do get a job, he got to get a job through means of somebody recommending him into the job, but by his own means, just because he may have became educated or just because he may have the skills that's required of the job, don't mean necessarily that he'll get the job. You understand? But what I'm noticing more and more is that when I look back 20, 25 years ago, you understand what I'm saying? I see that the jobs that the so-called black man was able to get once upon a time, and all he had to do is just walk up and say he wanted the job. He basically didn't even have to do too much, just walk up and say he wanted. Now all those jobs done fell into the hands of the so-called black woman. And at first I thought, okay, well, maybe, the so-called black man just don't want to work. But that ain't the case, because I see a whole lot of so-called black males out here struggling every day trying to fill out applications, trying to get jobs, trying to get ways so that they can take care of their family, take care of themselves, so that they can have a so-called self-worth to themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Because the average man don't feel he can have a self-worth if he can't bring nothing to the table. So what they did, when I say they, these unmelanated Euro Gentiles, what they did, they disenfranchised the so-called black man. And they took him out of the workplace. You understand what I'm saying? So they done forced a lot of the so-called black males to have to be out here on the streets and try to hustle. And I ain't got to outline what I mean by hustling, because there's various forms of hustling. But I'm just saying that they done forced the so-called black man to be out here on the streets hustling in order to try to make a living. And in the process of him hustling, trying to make a living, he's up against all kind of odds, whether it be the police, whether it be his own so-called black males or females trying to take him down, or whether it's the environment in general. So he's left with little or no choice at all. You understand what I'm saying? And don't give me nothing about, oh, well, I came from the same place, but look, I made it. Because I'm saying, when we put you on a grand scale versus the masses of so-called black males who ain't got nothing, who can't get nothing, these people won't give them the opportunity to get anything. You make up little or no number at all. So I ain't even talking to you. This message ain't even directed towards you, because you a traitor anyway. So I ain't even talking with you. I'm talking to the masses of so-called black males that's out here hurting, but got to get out here and do what they got to do to be able to make them come up. Those are the ones I'm talking at. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm just saying is this here. You sisters think, because they done laid here, they done made it now to where you prevalent in the police department, you prevalent in the prosecutor's department, you prevalent in the judge's department, you prevalent in politics, whether it's a state rep, whether it's a state senator, whether it's a U.S. Congress, or whatever form or whatever level of politics you done engaged in, city council, whatever. I'm just saying that now you think that you sitting on the high horse and you don't really need your black males. But you've been fooled, you've been tricked, you've been bamboozled, as they say. And I'm going to show you how you have been. Because right now, this system is finna collapse. And once it collapses, guess what? You ain't going to have that job no more. You ain't going to have no means of income no more. You ain't going to have no way to pay your to get your nails done, to get your weave put in, or to get you, to pay your rent. or to do all the little petty, insignificant stuff that you hail as being a sister that's independent. You ain't gonna have no means to be able to carry that kind of lifestyle out no more once this unmelanated Euro Gentile, his system collapse in. Then you're gonna be looking to your man. You're gonna look to your man for the strength that you should have been looking to him all the time for that strength. But you seem to misunderstand that these unmelanated Euro Gentiles deliberately displaced, deliberately disenfranchised the so-called black man so that he can't be able to come up on a positive come up. So he got to get out here and do it in a way that would be unpositive to the conduciveness and the growth of his own satanic system. You understand what I'm saying? You fail to realize that part. Because if you realize that, you wouldn't always be calling the police on him. If you realize that, you wouldn't always be trying to jump and lay down and go to sleep with another race of man, trying to have children with another race of man, and more so, you would never have the attitudes that you have with them that I see you got with them. Because I see you so-called black women, y'all got straight attitudes with the so-called black men. And I'm saying, you got some real so-called black men out here, me being one of them. You understand what I'm saying? Who ain't gonna take no BS. And when it comes time to get down, they'll get down. You understand what I'm saying? Then you got those of us who talk a good game. Then you got those of us who just ain't gonna say nothing at all. We ain't gonna rock the boat. We ain't gonna make no noise. We ain't gonna get on nothing on no level. Like as they say, we ain't gonna kill nothing, ain't gonna let nothing die. Ain't that what the old saying say? Or we ain't gonna throw rice at away. You got those of us who like that. But you got a handful of us who real and who will get down when the time come to get down. And that's what y'all better recognize, because I'm saying it ain't gonna never be the masses anyway who gonna come out from up under this here. It's just gonna be the chosen few. Because as they say, survival of the fittest, and may the strongest one survive. So this is what it's gonna end up boiling down to. And it's gonna take 7 and 8 of you sisters of that day to cling on to one of us. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be your little fairy tale story of finding your knight in shining armor and y'all live happily ever after and this and that, what the so-called unmelanated Euro Gentile has taught you and the way he has groomed you to think since you was a little girl listening to these little nursery stories. It ain't like that. We gotta come back down to real life reality, what's really going on out here, and get off this fairy tale stuff. Alright, I'm finna get ready to go to part 3, so I'm gonna have to cut it right here, but I'm gonna be back on part